Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that listens live, listens in the replay. Always appreciate all the long time listeners. Always appreciate you all. Definitely excited about this particular episode. Trust in clearly defined strategy. And this is definitely one of those episodes where these episodes come to us from trustees throughout the years, and one of the things that we've seen throughout the years is you have to have a clearly defined strategy. You have to have a strategy that's go to market. You have to have strategy that if you're going to enter into the marketplace, family estate or otherwise, even from protecting a family estate from the private side, there's a strategy involved. The thing is, a lot of people don't really understand that there's systems and strategies, and they think, oh, well, I'll just get in trusteeship, everything will be fine. They don't really study strategies. They don't really know strategies. They think they know, okay, well, I got a three trust strategy or some trust strategy that they have. What do they have? They have say, oh, I got two trust. Okay, so they got, multiple. Sometimes you get that. And, okay, what's your strategy, though? Is it ironclad? Is it clearly defined? Oh, no, trust Christian. It can't be that. We can tell y'all. From what our mentors trained us, they trained us in what's called the foundation. So we have the base understanding, and from there you can build anything you want. You can be creative. You understand the nature of the contract. You understand the jurisdictions of the contract. You understand the language of the contract. You understand the styling of the contract. You understand your role, responsibility, and duties. You know what your liabilities are. You know what you can and cannot do based off the indenture. So when we talk about is your strategy clearly defined, some people would like to say they pivoted, but they didn't pivot because they never had a clear place to pivot from. So when you have a clear place to pivot from, then you can see, okay, we can get results here. How do we get those results? Through a clearly defined strategy, which the mentors will ultimately say is a defined, repeatable process. You can turn into a defined, repeatable process. And they would tell us to turn it into a process. They would train us to turn things into systems, systematize your entire life. That's what they trained us into when it comes to trusteeship. So when we talk about trusteeship, oh, trust Christian, I haven't come up with a strategy, or I came up with my strategy. Well, we can tell most of the trustees, if you came up with your strategy and you're coming out of poverty, we can go ahead and tell you, if you're going to be the next Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or somebody like that, where you're going to take a company $0 to $1 billion valuation, great. But even still, some people think they've taken a shortcut because they don't want to do what the system or the previous strategies that one have done. But what you come to find out is most people end up just stealing a page out of somebody else's playbook, which is basically utilizing the same strategy. Whether you see wealthy people have foundations, whether you see wealthy people have trust, we're utilizing strategy. It's clearly defined. It's not an accident. It's not an accident amongst what you call the 1%. We're in trusteeship. It's not an accident. It's not an accident in the upper 1%. You see trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. It's not an accident. Because there's a strategy involved. That may be oh man, I can't believe that it's a strategy, trust Christian. I'm gonna try to get around that. I'm trying not to do a formula, a strategy. Okay. But at the end of the day, you're going off of one that hasn't made it successful yet. So you're going off of new knowledge. Whereas most of us in our sector, we're actually going off of previous successful strategies. We just learn the strategies. We're proactive in learning the strategies. We're not waiting for things to happen. We proactively learn strategies. We learn multiple strategies. We're not stuck on one strategy. Oh yeah, trust Christian. You only got one strategy. We have one foundation for the most part, but our strategy, and yes, we do have a very clearly defined strategy. No doubt about it. It hasn't changed for the most part throughout the years. Sure, can you refine it? Sure, but it's beyond refining. At one point, it's just you just got to do what the strategy says you got to do and execute the strategy. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to is executing the strategy. But if you don't have a clearly defined strategy, you can kiss it goodbye. A lot of people won't want to hear that, but the reality is you gotta have a defined strategy. It's like a mission statement, but the strategy goes with it. A lot of times, a lot of people, they're not even going to be able to develop a strategy because they don't have the knowledge base to develop the strategy, and that's fair. But that's why you got to go seek out mentorship. So in this environment, we have mentors. We have people that have been there and done that, and we just work with them. We find people that are more successful than us. That is the system. It's the system of apprenticeship. But how many people in this sector, or how many first generations actually understand that? You're a first generation. You have to get a mentor. You have to, so you can get your strategy up. But oh no, Trust Christian, I'm gonna do it myself. Okay, we giving y'all the heads up for the ones of y'all that think that you can take the shortcut. There's no shortcut, ladies and gentlemen. It's just go ahead and implement the strategy. Never letting go of the principle. Implement the strategy. Oh, Trust Christian, man, you don't know how hard it is. What are you talking about? We do know what you consider is hard. We do know that. We do know the challenges that you may have to overcome. All of us in trusteeship are pretty much doing the same thing. It doesn't matter if somebody's new to trusteeship, old to trusteeship. It's just managing property, and various situations can come up in the management of property. Various different things can come up. So do you have your thinking cap on, or do you have your I'm gonna do everything myself cap on? Or do you have your I'm not trusting anybody cap on, or do you have your I'll trust people cap on? These are the things that you can ask yourself. Trusteeship is going to put you in that position to where you have to come up with a strategy. Now, the strategy, surprisingly, is actually one of the most creative things that's a part of the trustee situation. You think about it, you have a typical mandate indenture, but then you get to the part where it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do here for the benefit of the beneficiaries? Well, we're going to have to come up with a strategy on what we're going to do. Outside of what it says we can and can't do, we still got to come up with a strategy. We got to come up with a strategy for our team. We got to come up with a strategy for how we're going to pay them. We got to come up with a strategy. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from y'all. Y'all can feel free to reach out. Definitely excited about it. Looking forward to doing some more episodes. This was just a quick brief one for you guys, just to go ahead and go over what we're talking about here, because this is one of those ones that sure it could be swept under the radar, no doubt about it, but that doesn't mean that it's not something that we shouldn't have a conversation about. We should definitely have a conversation about what we're talking about here when it comes to a clearly defined strategy. You definitely want to have a clearly defined strategy. Some people say, "Oh, Trust Christian, I haven't made the time to develop a strategy, or I just haven't developed a strategy." And we can let you all know that the longer it takes for you to define your strategy, the longer it's going to take for you to actually get the results you're looking for. Make it a point to have a strategy, develop your strategy, and work on your strategy. And we'll share with you all the shortcut, which is finding a mentor and collaborating with them and building a strategy from there. And think about it, a true mentor is somebody that's already been there, done that. So we're not saying you're supposed to be building with somebody that, they had a good paying job. A lot of trustees. Yeah, pay attention, trustees. Here we go, trustees. For all the ones that got, I trust Christian, I listen to the episodes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you are a trustee. You are not taking advice from employees. Do you get information from him? Just like you would an accountant or a lawyer. That doesn't mean you can't do it. That just means what? That they don't think that is a good idea sometimes. Okay, great. But we're going over with you all who is the true guidance. And guidance comes from the people that have been there, done that. If they haven't exactly been there, done that, then you already know what time it is. And we could say that for ourselves. Like, as long as you guys are engaged with people that are not truly engaged in the thing exactly that you want to do, it's just the longer it's going to take to do that thing. Some people don't want to hear that because it's like, oh, trust Christian, you don't know, man. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. No, you're not trying. You're not. You think you're trying. You're not trying. You didn't. What are you trying for? Write out the strategy. Okay. When you write out the circles, like, we'll make it a point to do that every single week. Okay. We got to take inventory of the team. The mentors trained us properly. He said, man, y'all got to do a ranking yank. Y'all don't want to do ranking yanks. Oh, trust Christian, I don't want to do a ranking yank. That's all it is. You don't want to do a ranking yank. I don't want to do a ranking yank. Yep. The longer you don't do a ranking yank, the longer it's going to take. Some people like to think, oh, trust Christian, I could get around it. What are you going to say when Trust Christian doesn't do consultations anymore? Now you're stuck out there in the wind. No, Trust Christian, ain't nobody out here was teaching you like you. I just watched a video. I tried to reach out. I tried to get on a consultation, but you in another country, and I can't just get a consultation with you now for a couple $100. That's what they say. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, what are you're supposed to be moving when you know the information, when you learn the information. A lot of people don't want to hear what we're going to say. We'll say it though. A lot of people are just comfortable. And when you're comfortable, it's hard to make those changes. It doesn't matter where you at. Some people think, oh, Trust Christian, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't have no money. Right. Well, we deal with people that do have money and they still comfortable. What you talking about? What does it make? What difference does it make how much money you have? It's about the learnings. That's why we saying it this way, because they're comfortable with not learning trusteeship. They say, oh, I want generational wealth, but you don't want to learn the vehicle to protect it in. It's like saying you're a very important person, but you don't know about bulletproof vehicles. It's important to know about a bulletproof vehicle if you're considered an important person and you're living that type of life. You need to know about a bulletproof vehicle. You need to know about protection in that respect. Think about it. You say you're protecting yourself, correct? Then you say you're trying to protect assets and trust, correct? Correct. So if you're looking to protect assets and trust, then you would definitely know about a vehicle that could protect the greatest asset, which is yourself. So we want to put it out there. We know trustees are going through a lot of stuff. Everybody's going through a lot of stuff. But trustees, we can tell you, if you don't have the clearly defined in there, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, Trust Christian, I thought I could get around it. Trust Christian didn't get around it. The mentors didn't get around it. And if you think you're going to get around it, great. But that's not the case. That's just not the case. The strategy is somebody say, oh, Trust Christian, give me like the detail. The strategy is your plan. Now, a lot of people wouldn't want to hear, I have to have a clearly defined plan, or I have a plan, or I have to have a plan. You don't want to hear that. I have to have a plan, Trust Christian. F you, Trust Christian, I'm going to wing it. That's literally what might come out somebody's mouth. Oh, Trust Christian, I want to wing it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not upset that you want to wing it. Go wing it. You don't have a true mentor and trusteeship? What are you talking about? You're winging it. You don't know trusteeship. You don't know the family estate trust strategy. So how would you sit here and say you're going to just come up with one? It's not as easy as it sounds. and not only that, we'll share, some people will go look into the books, study some of the Rockefellers. But that's still, we would say that if you could pull it off, then you clearly going to be a titan. That's how we look at anybody that pulls off the information without a given strategy to them. Some people can say, "Oh no, Trust Christian, you don't know what you talk about." We can name everybody that you know that you would consider as an icon or successful, and all of them have followed for the most part. If not the same strategy, strategies. And they've dang near followed the same strategy, especially when you get past a certain income level, because deals are never really different other than the amount of money. The due diligence on one deal is the same as doing a due diligence on another deal. It's no different. A clearly defined strategy is understanding that and having a strategy that works through good times, bad times. Like we were sitting there with a mentor yesterday. The mentor said, Trust Christian, he was going off. The mentor was going off. Oh, Trust Christian, y'all don't want to hear that. The mentor was going off, man. Mentor said, Trust Christian, I don't care what times you living in. I've been rich and I've been broke, and it ain't because of the times. He's like, I bet my estate on the house over 2 or 3 or 4 times. He said, so it had nothing to do with the economy. He said, he said the economy should not affect the family estate. It's like, the average person wouldn't want to hear that. They wouldn't want to hear that because they average, first of all. So then we go to the ones that's above average. Then y'all understand, like, oh, wow. Okay, so my results got to be definitely what he's talking about. Because it's not based off of the average results, which is economy up, economy down, income up, income down. No, it's not a linear correlation. It is, you're the opposite. And does it have to be that way, Trust Christian? Can it only be that way? I know y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all know who Warren Buffett is, and a lot of people know Warren Buffett because he's an American. There are other investors around the world that are very successful. So Warren Buffett is just one of the more popular ones. He had a huge convention in Omaha. He has 2 stocks. He has actually stocks. And this is a man that trades or was making acquisitions and trades. Same thing, basically, if y'all understand the language in the environment when it was pretty much, people use the same words for pretty much the same things. That's how that works. And it's kind of good, and yeah, it's kind of good. It helps out a lot, so you don't have to say a lot. And your vocabulary don't have to be so big. A lot of people think they need to have like this huge vocabulary, but once you get into a certain industry, you just learn the basic words. You can have a conversation. Same thing with trusteeship. You learn the basic words. You can have a basic conversation with most people. So we appreciate we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate you all. Christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian@trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out. Consultation still while you can. Peace.